Hey there! Welcome to my home. This is Moos'n Around the Kitchen with Terry Moose Butler. In today's episode, I came up with this invention one night. I was making pork chops for my boys, and they weren't really into the whole sauerkraut thing. So I thought, how can I spice this up a little bit? So tonight, we are doing my mustard pork chops. All right, let's get cooking. All right, we're about to get started here. One of the things I wanted to talk about though is how I come up with these crazy ideas. And a lot of times it just comes from what I have available. So one night I was gonna do pork chops and I didn't have sauerkraut, but my boys didn't like sauerkraut anyways. So I thought, you know, mustard and pork goes really good together. So I'm just gonna take this cream and this brown mustard and I'm gonna make a cream sauce, fry my pork chops right up in there and throw it on something that the boys will like. And you can do this with rice, brown rice, pasta. Tonight we're gonna do it with brown rice. I wanna kinda integrate something that's a little bit more healthy. I suppose you could do wild rice as well, which is super healthy for you. But let's take a look at the ingredients. All right, here's a look at the ingredients tonight. We're going to use these New York strip pork chops, and you can get them with fat, you can get them in the bone. But for tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice these up a little bit thinner so they cook up quicker. We're going to use the Dijon mustard, the heavy whipping cream, and the butter to make our sauce. And this will all go on top of the brown rice. We'll also throw in some garlic and the onion into the sauce. We have the asparagus, which my boys will not eat. That's totally okay. More asparagus for me. And then, of course, we'll season the pork chops with the Lowers and the black pepper. All right, let's get cooking. All right, so we have the brown rice started. Now we're going to move on to the asparagus. Now, I don't claim to be an asparagus expert, but this is what I did. Drizzled the olive oil on top. I used my Mrs. Dash garlic seasoning, some pepper, and sea salt. Then we went ahead and put on some of the minced garlic. I did wash and then cut off the tips so that these spears fit in here nicely. Now we're just gonna stir them up a little bit so we can get that all mixed in and get these spears nice and evenly coated with all the delicious stuff on it. We're gonna cook this at 425 degrees. Now there's the oven telling us that it's ready to be tossed in. So 425 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll check it at the 10-minute mark, and if it tastes like it needs to cook a little bit longer, based on the tenderness of the spear, we'll cook it for a little bit longer. All right, so the brown rice is done. What we're gonna do next here is we're gonna move on to how I'm gonna prepare the pork chops. And we're using my favorite knife. I love this thing. I was at Walmart or Sam's Club and they had one of those presentations where they're like, oh, check out this knife. We're gonna cut this brick and then we're gonna cut a tomato. And I was like, wow, I'll remember that next time I need to cut some bricks for some masonry and then cook some tomatoes later in the day, I guess. But I do, it's an absolutely beautiful knife. I love this thing. So we're gonna have our meat here. In fact, let's just throw it onto the plate. Take our pepper here, coat that. This. And now we're just gonna kind of stir it all up. Oh, you get back on there. You're getting eaten today. Nothing really fancy, we're just getting this all coated up. And then we're gonna fry this for just a little bit and then we'll add all the ingredients to make the sauce. Now, I do like to experiment with just about anything that interests me. I like to dry things out. I've got my sunflower seeds that I do every year. So I recently got some roses here. we're gonna dry those out and see what I can do with those. Maybe I'm gonna make some potpourri. Maybe I'll cook with dry rose petals. Who knows? All right, let's go on to the next thing. All right, I almost always cook with olive oil. Let me get this spread around the pan a little bit. So we'll start out with the onions. Of course, we want to start frying the onions first because they're a little bit bigger. Once these get fried up a little bit, we'll go ahead and move on to the garlic. All right, so you can see we're getting a little browning here on the onions. That means they're starting to caramelize. And there's that kind of nice clearness starting to come into them. They're a little bit yellow. So to me, that's really the sign that we can go ahead and add the garlic. So we're going to go ahead and throw a couple scoops of garlic into here. I'm also going to turn down the heat just a little bit. And get this stirred in. This smells so good. You don't want to burn the onion or the garlic, but caramelize is good. And there's our timer for the asparagus. Let's see if we can get a little look at what that looks like. There's our asparagus. Oh, tender. Tender. This is perfect. All right, so we've got the heat turned down. I'm just going to go ahead and just plop all that right in there. We'll just keep this moving around, and once the pork is cooked up just enough, because it won't take too long, that's when we'll go ahead and add the cream, the butter, and the mustard. So, as you can see, the pork's already cooking up pretty quick. But we'll check back on it here in a couple of minutes. Alright, this is starting to look pretty good. The pork is pretty evenly cooked across the board. We really want to just make sure we don't see any of that pink left on there. Now, because I have already put in olive oil, and there's natural oils and fats coming from the pork, usually when I make a cream sauce, I use a whole stick of butter. So today, we're only going to use a half stick. And once this butter is melted in there, pretty much we'll be able to add the rest of the ingredients. So let's just go ahead and get this stirred in there. Alright, we're about to add the last couple of ingredients here to our sauce. And, you know, when it comes to making meals for my boys, sometimes I have to exaggerate about the ingredients. Alright, sometimes I have to lie about the ingredients. And there's certain things that, like onions, tomatoes, I just have to say there's no onions or tomatoes in there. So we're going to use about half this heavy whipping cream. And I'm not sure how much of this Dijon mustard we're going to use. We're just kind of play it by ear. Let's take a look at how things are looking now. So that's everything as it is now. First we're going to go ahead and add the heavy whipping cream. That's about half of this container right here. And with like any of my sauces, you want it to get frothy. And the reason why you want to do that is so that the cream mixes in with the oil. That's really the only reason you're letting that happen. So I've got the heat at about a medium heat right now, and I'm going to let this get frothy. Once it's frothy enough, basically to the point where everything is combined, I'll go ahead and add the Dijon mustard. So we'll check back here again in just a couple of minutes. Alright, as you can see, we're getting some bubbling going here, or boiling, which means our sauce is getting frothy. So we can go ahead and add our Dijon mustard. And just go ahead and start squirting it in there. We'll go ahead and start with about half the bottle here. Actually, that was about 2/3. Just get it stirred in. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me again for another episode of Moos'n Around the Kitchen with Terry Moose Butler. And if you like what you saw tonight, please share this video with your friends, subscribe, like, and leave any comments that you have. I just want a quick thank you, Sarah Kay, one of my friends, making one of my recipes last night, my wild rice hot dish, and providing some great feedback. Thank you for that. Also, my Swedish friend, Crispy Thursson, who gave me the idea of using the asparagus tonight. So shout out to you there as well. Again, if you like what you see, please share this with your friends, subscribe, like, and you know I've got to taste this. Mmm. It is so good. It is so good. I hope that you make this recipe, and I hope that you like it. Oh, I did want to add too, I ended up just using half the bottle of the mustard. I didn't use all of the mustard. All right, you guys have a good night and happy cooking.